Good evening. Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks to the veterans and their family for the sacrifices. Always appreciated. First up on the agenda is the minutes from April 18 regular meeting provided to the council on the 20th. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to look at them. Any corrections, concerns, questions on the minutes? There are no questions. I ask for a motion to accept the minutes on April 18, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all those in favor? Okay. As far as reports are concerned, provided council should have the latest revenue and expenditure. This was as of May the 2nd. So this is everything to date, including any AP that has gone through as of last Friday. As far as finance department, I work with Aisha, and I work with the CPA group. We have 3 of them here this week on Tuesday. One concentrating on the revenue expenditures and payroll, and another one taking care of our taxes to make sure our taxes were paid state, federal, and that they were uploaded to the proper website. And I worked with Rachel on the new budget to try to have something presented for the council. It's not quite ready yet.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Will they be present for the budget hearing?
I asked her to be present. It will depend on when the council sets that workshop date, but if she cannot, she will probably have one of her. Yes. Thanks. We should have a police report here. So as you can see, there's 75 reports. There were 9 accidents, 37 arrests, 173 traffic stops, 117 citations issued, and 170 warnings issued. We had representation for the activities, both the library and Easter egg hunt at the church, and the April 1 5K fun run for the elementary school. All admin and off-duty personnel provided security and traffic direction for the Spring Fest from 7:30 to 1800 hours on the 29th. I think the Spring Fest had a nice turnout. I believe there were around 80 vendors, and had the opportunity to talk to quite a few of them, and they enjoyed their day and appreciated the hospitality of the city. And most of that I talked to said they plan to return again next year. Some of them had never been to Statham festivals, and they not only plan to come back for the Spring Fest, but also reach out to the Sunflower Festival and hopefully be able to add a couple of vendors to the Sunflower Festival. So I think all in all, Saturday was a very good day for everyone. The businesses all said they did a very, very good business and sold out quite a few items. So I think it went well, and I think the city can feel good about the day as a whole. The presentations, the council didn't have anything at this time, so we decided that Sherry was, it was like a 2-hour drive for her to get here. So the council reserves the ability to ask her to come back in the future if there's something that she may be able to help the city with, that she would be glad to do so. This evening we have a gentleman here with EnviroSpark. He approached me one day in the parking lot and talked to me about charging station or stations here in Statham for electric vehicles. So at this time, Mr. Rick Controy, you have the floor. If you'd like to.
Thank you. Hi. They kind of thought I might have a projector, so I got this really nice presentation that I'm not going to be able to show you right now. So I'll talk through it. So the mayor mentioned EnviroSpark. So we're a company in this electric vehicle world, and just like a regular car, you need to fill it up to drive, and electric vehicles need chargers. And we see it on the news all the time, because where's the infrastructure for all these electric vehicles that are coming? So as a company, that's what we do. We put chargers in all kinds of environments, and this is a perfect environment, these small communities. So as a company, we've got started in 2014, have about over 7,000 chargers installed across many areas of residential, hospitality, universities. We go to public buildings, we go to office complexes, we go to apartments. So for example, if you have an electric vehicle and you live in an apartment, 86% of people that have electric vehicles want to charge them at home. So if they live in an apartment, they want their apartment complex to have a charger for them. So we put a lot in that environment. So our big flag waver right now is that, in that last large bill that was passed by the government that had a big piece for environmental, and in that was the movement forward for each state to submit to the feds a plan to put chargers on the interstate highways and main roads. We as a company won the bid, competing with 10 other companies, to put the chargers on the interstate highways in the southeast. So that was a big win. $500 million. A lot of money. We knew that was a big bill that was passed by Congress, right? So we actually get the benefit of that. So why do people buy electric vehicles? Right? If you've driven one, you'll kind of realize right away the dealers, car dealers, are actually encouraging people to come inquire about them. If they have one on the lot, they'll give it to you to drive overnight and take it home, because they know that after you've done that, there's a high probability that you're going to buy. Okay? But if you're the average person that drives, the numbers say 14,263 miles a year, you will spend at 25 miles a gallon and $3.30 per gallon, you're going to spend about $1,885 in gasoline. If you have an electric vehicle and you're charging it at home or wherever it might be, you're going to spend about $490. So that grabs the attention of a lot of people that are trying to cost justify buying an electric vehicle. So, Bloomberg, CarMax, they're all, you see it, all the car makers are building electric vehicles. The big Honda plant up in Ohio that was building all the Hondas on the earlier days had totally converted that plant just to build electric cars. So Bloomberg says electric vehicle sales will account for 58% of new car sales by 2040. So that kind of indicates that some of us in here are going to have an electric vehicle. Okay? CarMax says more than 66% who buy electric vehicles are between the ages of 30 and 59. Well, I missed that. But another 22% are 60 and older. So it's a wide spectrum of age that are interested in buying electric vehicles for lots of reasons. So when I approached the mayor in the parking lot, I was over here at the Georgia Club, they're putting them in. But anyway, I approached him in the parking lot and we shook hands and just started chatting and talking about it. And so I said, well, why would that make sense for your town? Because chargers in your town become a magnet for people that are driving electric vehicles. So, you know, when they're traveling and they decide to go somewhere, wherever they're coming from, electric vehicle owners will say, well, if I go there, I go that direction, and I've just driven 150 miles to get there, I'm going to keep going, where would I stop to charge my car? And so if you have a charger in your community, you are on a network, it's published, there's a bunch of networks they can just click on, and they can see, oh, Stephen's got chargers. Well, let's stop in that little town and check things out, right? Go to your restaurants, go to your events like you had on Saturday. So the chargers become a magnet for attraction with people with electric vehicles. I'll give you another example. Is in North Georgia, where I've been quite a bit, wineries. Somebody wants to do a wine tour, and they're going to, you know, take a little effort to get up there, and they're going to use their batteries in their cars. They say, well, let's pick 4 wineries. If they see 2 of them have chargers, guess where they're going? So they're really starting to experience a lot of that effect of having chargers in your environment. So, all right, so here, after we walked the property and had a lot of conversation, he said, well, if we put them here, where would we put them? So we are thinking 3 chargers. So one would come off this electrical panel right here at the corner of the building. It's no longer being used to power the sirens. And so we would come off of that, trench across the ground here, go out there to the curb, and we would put 1 charger right out there for anyone that's coming the highway this way, for example. There's signage, says electric vehicle charger, catches their eye, oh, let's pull in there and charge and let's walk to town, whatever it might be. The other 2, I had all these really nice pictures we took, you know, where they were going to be. So, the other 2 would be, Mayor, help me describe, we're across from,
Just up past the gazebo,
just past the gazebo, right?
I understand, this would be cars only because of the highway here.
Okay.
That was what you proposed, make it car only. Up there would be full service for 2 stations.
Correct. So we have two electrical panels that are available with plenty of electric capability already in them. So all we have to do is just basically, each charger takes a 40-amp breaker. All we have to do is put in 2 breakers. We got about a 3-foot little trench over to what we put would be a concrete pad and a charger on it, a pedestal, that would have 2 chargers. So 2 vehicles could pull up and charge at any time. All right, so that would be the second location, 3 chargers, 2 there and 1 here. So what do these look like? Excuse me. Right? So, pardon some of my pictures. Come on. It's not allowed to do that.
Did you hit your power button?
I don't know. Does look like one now, huh?
When you turned
Yes,
it,
it did.
that's what I thought, you grabbed it when you turned it.
When I turned it, I hit this button over there. So while we're waiting this to come up, the chargers are what they call smart chargers. So there's such a thing as smart chargers and dumb chargers. Dumb chargers are just basically plug-in and charges. And that's all you get a charge. Smart chargers have software. And so it will tell you how much electricity it's used. It will tell you how long the charge has been going on. It will tell you the billing, because when you go to use a charger, it has, everybody familiar with a QR code? It has a QR code on the charger. Their phone captures a QR code, opens up an app, and basically says how do you want to pay for your charge. So you can use a credit card, the Apple Pay, all the choices to pay for your charge. My hand away from Okay. So, apologize the background. This was at the Public Library in Dunwoody. Okay. So basically, put a little cement and just the charger mounts to this, and we'd have a small trench to take the power to the panel out there. And so that charger is there, and there's 2 plugs on it. So you get 2 parking spaces. They take the plug in, and they start charging after they decide how they want to pay for it. Okay? It's very simple. That's just a closer picture of another one in a parking lot. Okay. Any questions so far?
I got one. What is the average charge time?
Good question. So, in the charging world, there are basically 3 chargers. They call them L1, L2, L3. L1, you won't use it anywhere other than home. And it's taking a plug, and it'll plug into an outlet like we have on the wall over there, and it'll start charging the car. It's extremely slow. After about an hour of charging, you put about 4 miles of driving on your battery. So when you come home and you plug in with an L1 kind of charge, you are about 12 or 14 hours later, you might have enough power to do what you want to do. The next level is L2, So you can put an L2 at home, but all the chargers we're talking about here are L2s. So if I came in with a very low battery and I wanted to fully charge it, if I wanted to do that at home, or whatever, it'd take about 4 or 5 hours. Then there's an L3. The L3s are big, large, and the power is a DC charge, and it'll charge a battery in about 25 minutes. Anybody been to Buc-ee's? Okay, Buc-ee's put in 10 of those. Tremendous investment. But people come to Buc-ee's, they'll plug their charger in, they go inside and whatever they're gonna buy, right? And they get a full charge by the time they come back out and they hit the road and off they go. Because that's an interstate highway-based charging environment. So, L3s, 25, 30 minutes at most. L2s, from basically empty to full, 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. So
So if they came to a city like this that had it, and they stopped for lunch, about what would they have?
Yeah, so if
An
they-
hour and a half for
right.
lunch?
yeah, they stop for lunch, do a little walking around, let's say they're here for an hour and a half, you know, they're probably going to add another 50, 60 miles of driving, let's say.
And
What's the
then-
average cost of that per kilowatt?
Well, depends on the kilowatt hours that we charge. I'm going to give you some options here in a minute. $2 an hour to charge. So if they charge for an hour and a half, $3. Yeah.
And you sent me those proposals, which I forwarded on to the
Yeah.
council, so
Yeah.
they do have some of the pricing.
Yeah, so we'll kind of go through what that looks like. Okay. So what we offer for the customer is 3 options. One is you can invest upfront in the total cost of the chargers and the infrastructure to put it in. Most of the cost is actually digging the ground and getting it all connected to electrical. So that's one option, is that it all adds up. Here's a dollar value, which we'll show you in a minute, and you make that investment in the dollars. You own it, you have the support on it, and then you decide on what you're going to charge and you collect the revenue. That's the balance. Okay? Second option is that we make the investment. We pay for the chargers, we pay for the installation, the implementation, support, and it's a 5-year agreement, and we pay for all of that. In exchange for that, to get our money back and try to make some money, because we're in business to do that, we would charge you a monthly fee for each charger. And I'll show you what that number is in a minute. Okay? The third option is that, again, we pay for the whole thing, put it in, chargers, installation, et cetera, support. It's a longer agreement, but nothing comes out of your pocket. It's free to the community. And so we collect the revenue from the charge. So when someone charges, we set the rate at like $2, and we collect those $2 bills each time somebody charges per hour. And we collect that over a period of time, and somewhere down the road, the company has collected enough $2 to recover what we put in it, and also start to make some money. So that's a very popular program, because for communities or buildings, wherever we put them, there's no money coming out of your pocket as a community. There's no investment. And we take full responsibility. So these smart chargers actually put out a ping, like every 40 seconds. And we have the technology that monitors those pings. If we see a charger is not pinging properly, then that's our flag to look at the charger electronically, kind of like a computer, reboot it if needed. Or if we can't do that, we'll send a technician. We know that a charger is having an issue before you know it. And so we're very proactive in supporting and fixing chargers if there's a problem. But there's a 98% uptime on chargers. So in that program that I was just describing, it would be to our benefit for sure that charger stays up as much as it can all the time, because we want to collect all those $2 bills to help pay us back for what we put in it. Okay? So, the three options. And you forwarded this, so you all have seen these numbers, right? Okay. So from an investment standpoint, if you just wrote a check and you wanted to buy it, own it, collect all the revenue, it's $38,706. Plus tax on some of it. I don't think taxes in here. If we took the second option, where we make all the investment, put it in, for the three chargers, you would give us $160 a month per flow for 5 years. So that enables us to recover the dollars, make a profit as it works on through after we recover. And at the end of 5 years, you have an option. Do you want to renew it? If you don't, you own it for 4 years. It's like a lease purchase. Okay? The third option we were describing, which we call network, is we take all the risk, we put it all in, we put the infrastructure in, etc., and your cost is zero. So it goes in, you know you got chargers in your community and you don't worry about it. So our responsibility as these is to keep them up and functioning, because as I said, we want to collect our $2 bills. Any questions?
What's the life expectancy on these things?
Well, in both of these where we're responsible for all the maintenance and software, a lifetime that you have them. If one fails, it breaks, can't be rebooted, can't be fixed, we just come replace it.
What's the life expectancy before we have to replace them if they were bought outright?
You would have a maintenance agreement, and you have the same coverage.
Lifetime.
Pardon?
I mean, it'd be a lifetime.
As long as you keep paying the maintenance agreement, and yes, the maintenance agreement includes the same thing. If it breaks, we fix it. If it can't be fixed, we replace it.
So we would have to pay for the account. What the price of the maintenance agreement?
Maintenance agreement is $20 per month per quote.
Do you have any projection of possible income off that? How many people will carry this?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pull your leg. They say, well, the numbers say right now that utilization, growing fast because of the amount of electric vehicles that are being sold. Utilization is now between 1% and 5%. So it could sit out there. And let me see if I have. Yeah, thought I had a spreadsheet there. So if I broke a day down in 12 hours, and typically I'm not going to see a car charging for 12 hours. First of all, they would need to charge for 12 hours, or a charger being used for 12 hours. Maybe in the morning till 9 or 10 at night. And these chargers also, you can put an alert in there that will send a text to the person that the car is charged. So if they stopped and they were eating at the restaurant around the corner and their car charged was fully charged, they could get a text 10 minutes before it's supposed to stop and tell them that their car is fully charged. So then they can move the car and make the space available for somebody else, right? You can even put penalties in there. You know, if you're charging $2 an hour and they don't move the car, you say after a certain time, we're going to push that to $10 an hour, right? You know, you can and have elements built in that kind of gives them the incentive to move the car. So, but if I take a day, that's what I was hoping on the spreadsheet, and I said, all right, if I charge for 3 hours, third of the day, or 3.5 hours, times $2 an hour, right? What kind of revenue am I getting for that day, 3.5 hours at $2 an hour? And so times 30 days, that's my monthly revenue. If I match that against what I might pay for a plug on that second option, you look at the offset. So, and we can match those dollars and dollars and play those. But quite frankly, the reason our third program is so popular is that you don't have to worry about that. Right? There's no investment on your part. We monitor how many people charge, especially in those first months that becoming aware that the charger's even in the community, right? You can broadcast and advertise your community that you're an electric vehicle charger community. You have chargers. That attracts people to come. You want to do that in a marketing advertising. So, again, that's why that's so popular, because the utilization is going to be low for a while. And, as we see more and more electric vehicles, as in our apartment complex yesterday, they put in a charger for 2 vehicles, 2 chargers for 2 vehicles. Now there's 9 vehicles in the complex, and so they need to add chargers, and they said the rate the electric vehicles are coming into their complex, they know they're going to need more than just the immediate chargers to supply their tenants. They're going to have to add more to accommodate the influx coming in. So the thing the chargers do is we get the reports to tell you what the usage is. We give that to you. The other thing we can do is it will also tell us how much electricity is being used on your grid. So we can put in the contract is that quarterly we get the report off of the chargers. It tells us how much electricity is being used, times your utility rate, and we'll write you a check back. Pay for your electricity.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but at the interest of time,
Okay.
if you could,
Basically,
yeah,
that's it. Unless
If
you have
could,
questions.
Make sure that if you have some cards, and then the council has questions,
Sure.
or community would reach out and had questions, we could get them the answers.
Any immediate questions?
I have.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize, I skipped over the Public Works, report. Jordan said they had 174 locates done, 103 of those for water, 71 for sewer in the month of April. Several new water meters have been placed for new homes. Of course, multiple leaves, for leaves and limb pickup. Now, our truck was broke down for about 2 weeks with an electronic, I guess, it's not a mechanical throttle, and so even though they would push the pedal, it wasn't going. So we had 2 weeks where we could not use that vehicle. So it looks like everything's back up and running, and we're gonna try to do at least once a week. But there again, it's driven by how many requests that we have coming into City Hall. So if you have, please call in, we'll put in a work order, and the more work orders we have, the more often we can run that truck efficiently. Had a few minor water leaks that were repaired, and of course, on a daily basis, as they can, they get busy with grass cutting. So a reminder, Tomorrow and Saturday is the spring cleanup. It will be from 8 to, I believe, 6 tomorrow, and I think it's set up to 8 to 4 on Saturday. So anyone interested in volunteering, more than welcome. The public auction across the street, I believe it's the 12th, 15th of May. So just a couple of reminders for the public. Okay, new business. There's an ordinance, O-23-04. This is the first reading. And I'm going to turn this over to Counselor because he can explain it.
Sure, Mayor, thank you. The ordinance that is before you is actually kind of a two-part ordinance. It does two things. First thing it does, the General Assembly made some amendments to the Zoning Procedures Act, specifically as it relates to the appeal process for zoning applications and variance applications. And they specify that there are certain procedures that need to be adopted in every single zoning ordinance about the time in which someone who is aggrieved by a zoning decision of the City Council can appeal it to the Superior Court and the process that they use. The deadline to amend the zoning ordinance to incorporate those changes is June 1st, so that's why it's before you now. Those are, effectively, it's copy and paste the text of the statutes that were adopted by the General Assembly. I'm happy to answer questions about that process if you have them, but it's fairly straightforward. The second component to the zoning ordinance is to address the an issue that has come up in a lot of communities, specifically about development, subdivisions, townhome developments being constructed that are 100% for rent. A lot of cities have taken the position that they want to promote home ownership rather than rental communities, and so a lot of municipalities impose in their zoning ordinances for subdivisions, townhomes, those kinds of developments, that and single-family detached residential products as well, that there be an HOA that has covenants that has rental restrictions. So this would require, it's an amendment to section 15-206 that would say, and most of this is already there, but mandatory homeowners associations, and they must have covenants and restrictions, and included in those covenants must be a restriction saying that at most no more than 10% of the units can be rented in a given development, with an additional 5% hardship waiver process. But that's the second component of the zoning ordinance, and I'm happy to answer any questions you'll have.
So this would include, you said accessory dwelling units?
I'm sorry?
Did I hear you correct? Does this include accessory dwelling units, like secondary units outside of a single-family home?
Well, there shouldn't be accessory dwelling units. I mean, except in very, very limited.
Right.
But basically, this is any piece of property that a plat is recorded for, a subdivision plat. So, single-family residential, townhome, would not apply to apartments, obviously. Can't rent just 10% of apartment. But basically, it's built into the plat approval process and the subdivision of land regulations.
Council have any other questions?
Does that include the existing?
Those would be grandfathered, only for new subdivisions.
Any other questions? Okay, next on the agenda is Balasai Inc., alcohol license extension to approve Balasai Incorporated, which is Nico Patel, applicant and owner, an extension ending December 31st, 2023 for the selling date of licensed products for the purpose of building construction. Per the December 21, 2021 regular council meeting minutes, a consideration of approval of alcohol license application stated that in the event building construction were delayed, the applicant must return to the council and ask for an extension of the selling license. An extension was granted on October 6, 2022, and the license was renewed in December 2022 for the 2023 year. Prior to year ending 2023, Babasai Incorporated will apply for their alcohol license renewal for the year 2024 and requested an extension for the selling date of their licensed products for the purpose of building construction completion. He also wrote a letter basically to the council explaining this, and like a lot of other businesses having trouble getting construction company because it's one building and they might have customers that they're building 10 buildings for. So that's his holdup at this point, but he's requesting an extension be granted from the council that would get him through December 31st of this year, and he has all intentions of paying for his license again. So, any questions from the council on that? Okay. Next on the agenda is D.R. Horton is seeking consideration for the release of 20 additional building permits prior to the completion of the amenity and relief from the note number 28 on the recorded final plat that calls for common area amenities shown on the final plat be developed as required prior to the issuance of the 42nd building permit. Are there questions?
What does this mean?
Yes.
So on the plat that was approved by the city council, note number 28 imposed a condition that said that the developer could only obtain 42 building permits. And before number 43 could be issued, the amenity package that was shown on that plat had to be developed. And they have received 42 building permits. The amenity package is underway, but it is not completed, and they are requesting that the note be changed to allow for the issuance of 20 additional permits prior to the completion of the amenity package. I don't know if someone from D.R. Horton is here. Oh, there we go. So that's the quick summary.